Hello friends, my name's Tony. If you don't know me, hopefully we will be friends shortly. I started a company called Rad Pad about 2.5 years ago in Nicaragua. And in Nicaragua, we learned how to build using readily available materials. We learned a lot in Nicaragua. We actually got to build quite a bit there as well. We also learned about titling of land. We learned about taxes, electricity, water, sewage, all that sort of stuff. And as we were building a development in a beautiful beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in all of Nicaragua, Playa, we realized that the new coastal road was going through the tip of the property. And since it was going through the tip, they froze the titles and you're not allowed to sell property until that road is complete. So, well, I think you can sell it, but you can't register the deed. So it was a little sketchy, a little gray area. So we started learning about investments and how we could actually use the Rad Pad instead of using it as a vacation second home or a actual long-term residence. We could use it as a income generator, a cash flow machine, where it could be rented out, the Airbnb type model. So we learned how to do that, and it was going really well until I took a bus trip to Costa Rica. Now, I haven't been to Costa Rica before I came the first time, which was about 150 days ago. I've been in Nicaragua since before COVID, so everything I know with Radpad has been in Nicaragua. When I got here, there's about 1,000 people from the United States, North America, Canada, for every one there is in Nicaragua. So when I saw that, I was like, what is going on? And it took a little to adjust. In Nicaragua, things are like what they are in Nicaragua, and I love it. Down here, it's very much more like North America. And it was like, whoa, if you could imagine being out of the bubble for 4.5 years, and then going in to the bubble again, it's like, whoa, there's stuff everywhere and the marketing is crazy, and it's like, the prices are insane. They're not, they're regular, but when you're in Nicaragua for that long, it's crazy to think that you would pay like $16 for a sandwich, But anyways, I got down here and I had a bunch of friends from the Everything Nicaragua show that we did, the infomercials about Nicaragua. A bunch of people from Costa Rica have been fans of that. Thank you very much. And they invited me to come down and stay with them. So Gabriel, our builder, and I came down on a bus and we stopped with different fans of the show in different areas from the north down here to the south. And then when we arrived here in Dominical, it was like, wow, this is amazing. So many cool people from my hometown in Lake Tahoe, lots of people from Tahoe, what's up? Lots of people from Colorado, lots of people from the East Coast, Miami, North Carolina, Texas. There's people from all over the United States and Canada right here in this one little area. So I had a blast, to say the least. Took a bus back, told everybody at Radpad we got to go check out Costa Rica. So we packed up our stuff and Gabriel and I, jumped on a bus and we came down here to Dominical. Shortly thereafter, a resort here called Paradise Lodge, which is a beautiful resort. It's been here for quite a long time. One of the owners actually flew from Austria to Nicaragua to check out our building system that we have for Radpad a while back. So we decided to come down here, chatted up with Fritz. Hopefully you're watching, and him and his partners decided let's give Radpad a shot, and we wound up building a Radpad right here just outside of Dominical. It's a town called Platanillo. Platanillo it's the town of the biggest waterfall, and it has 3 really rad waterfalls, but it's the town of the Nayaca waterfall. Nayaca is the most visited waterfall in Costa Rica. So the Paradise Lodge is right next to that. We thought, wow, this is a great opportunity. Let's build a Rad Pad. So we wound up building one there, and it's gnarly. It's like on a steep hill, and it was a crazy experience. But we did it, and it was fantastic, and we're super happy with it. And it's now just going into the rental market. So while that was happening, we started looking for our next prospect. And there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, we really want Rad Pads. And we're looking at them, and we're checking them out. And it's like building one at a time is like, that's pretty hard to do, and especially for the way Radpad sets up. It's basically like that saying, if you've got a tree to cut down, wrong saying for Costa Rica. They do not like a tree cut down. But I'm gonna go back to the saying. If you got a tree to cut down and you can only have 7 days to do it, the best way to do it is to spend 6 days sharpening your axe. It seems excessive, but that's the way the saying goes, and 1 day to chop it down. So with Radpad, we set up and we use these jigs, and we use like, once you set up, it's so fast. It's like boom, 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 boom. You can build the wall panels so quickly, and they just go together, the floor, the roof, every part of it goes so quickly. So it's really setting up the jigs and then putting in the material, using the Accu cutter to cut everything, putting it on the jig, welding it, and then popping it in place. So what's best for Radpad is to do a couple of them in the same location. Basically set up a big 4x6 tent, you know, and put our tools underneath there and then fire out rad pads. So that got us to thinking a combination down here where there's so much building going on in Costa Rica. I was in a place, a beach called, what's it called? Playa Hermosa. Up this hill, it's like gnarly drive up in this hill, and I counted, before I quit counting, was 25 builds, active builds going on all over the place, on the side of the mountain, everywhere, just non-stop building, 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 building. So it was like, there's a lot of building going on. But we don't really want to do that. What we wanted to do was something in combination of our Nicaragua, what we learned with investments. We learned that the #1 reason expats have to go home is lack of income. They can't figure out a way to generate income. So the best way that I know of generating income, especially if you have capital. So most people that come here to expat, they sell everything they have back in Canada or wherever they came from, and then they come here. And then every day their nest egg gets a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. So what's probably best to do is figure out a way to generate income so that you're not hurting your nest egg every single day. And that's what we learned in Nicaragua. So we learned that rental income is fantastic when it's done right. We learned the pluses and the minuses of managing short-term rentals versus long-term rentals, and there's a little something in between. There's a really cool market here in Costa Rica where people come down for what's called mid-term rentals. Mid-term rentals are amazing. So that's anything between like a month and like 6-month rental. So on that, you can wind up, you charge a little bit more because you do. And because when somebody looks at it and they say, I have this much to spend over a 3-month period, that's fine. If somebody's doing a year over year, they kind of have a set budget in mind per month. Whereas the people doing midterms have like a budget for their whole shenanigans, the whole party that they're doing for the 3 months or 6 months, whatever it may be. So midterm rentals are very profitable for the owner of the Rad Pad. So we thought here is a great place to set up, and we found properties that are really unique and probably overlooked. So I built some what's called RV parks back in Canada. RV park and the trailer park is a very lucrative business in the high-end stuff. I don't know anything about the low-end like stuff at all, but the high-end stuff where the Gulf Streams are and the Airstreams and all the, you know, the high-end RVs and the high-end trailers are parked. Those are very, it was called KOA was named the #1 most profitable franchise in the United States. And when I saw that, I was like, what? How's this true? And I Googled it and I found, oh my gosh, there's so many franchises of these. They're like, it's an RV park, so you can drive and park your RV, but they also have camping areas. Now they have glamping areas. They have cabins, and then they have full trailers. And you can kind of choose where you want to go. And these things they're pretty big, and some are pretty small, but not that small, like 25 units to like 200 units, big ones, right? There was even one in the Midwest where Bon Jovi played. Like Bon Jovi played at a KOA trailer park. Amazing. So it's a pretty cool thing. And the coolest part about them is that they're more about being close to a ton of different attractions. So you want like, you may not need it to be on the beach, but you need to be able to go to 1, 2, 3, 4 different beaches. You don't need to be at the waterfall, but you need 4 waterfalls. Get what I'm saying? So there are these locations where it's really challenging to build traditionally. My favorite place in all of southern zone here is called Playa. Playa, like if you're from California, and you're used to Southern California beaches that are long and beautiful and like palm trees and just that style of beach, when you go to Playa Linda, you're like, that's what I'm talking about. It's a running beach. You could surf if you want. It's just a rad beach. You can throw a hammock up, and a lot of people go there. It's super fun. But there's not much out there, and there's like a water that comes in from the ocean there, and it's important. There's mangroves there, and it's important that there isn't heavyweight building nearby there, regardless of the potential of some large all-inclusives that might be coming there in the very, very near future. We started going down there and looking, and I started seeing I don't know if you've seen any of the videos, but we started seeing fire hydrants out there at the beach, and then we started seeing electrical transformers, and it was like, this is some pretty high-end stuff. I haven't seen any of this stuff anywhere else around here. Nothing like it. What's going on, you know? So we started talking to locals and started figuring it out, and we realized that all the pipes and the infrastructure for something large has been put in place, but what's missing is the water tanks up on the hill, which are like $400,000 each tank, and they need 2 or something, like $1 million investment. So that's what's holding that up. But we found a whole bunch of property right on the side of the 34. The 34 is the coastal highway that runs up and down Costa Rica from the bottom to the top, from Panama all the way back up to Nicaragua, pretty much. And in between the 34 and the beach, you've got some area, but that's usually, it's like wetland, or it's got some reason that you can't build on it, so there's cows on it. And then you've got like the maritime zone, which you can, but it's tricky. It's another, like in Nicaragua, there's so many challenges. Like just to buy a car, you can't really buy it. You have to set up an SAA, which is like an LLC, and have the LLC buy the car, and you be the majority shareholder. But you got to have a local in your business as a representative that has to have a percentage of the share. So it's like, that's weird with the car. When it gets to property, it gets even a little bit more weird, right? So here, I just wanted to be weirdless, be out of the weird zone for once. And the maritime laws are, to me, okay, I buy the property, but I don't really get a deed. I get a 20-year concession, and that allows me to pay taxes and get a water and electricity or something, but I don't really own it. It's kind of like the Mexico, like the 99-year lease. It just doesn't sit right with a lot of people, and especially people who want to make investments. They want to own the dirt so that they get the appreciation over time, and then they want to put an asset on it that generates cash flow right away. It's like throwing gasoline on the fire. Basically, it's if you're waiting for that property to go up because you're like, oh, maybe there's going to be a big all-inclusive coming in next door, and I can wait it out 5-10 years. What can I put on it right now? So Radpad, in the beginning, the dream was an RV park. It was that simple. It was like, what's the fastest route to cash? I had no cash. I had no driver's license, no bank account. My visa was 400 days expired. I had nothing. And I drew this idea on a napkin. And then my first guy was like, let's do it. Second, third, and the story to get to where I am today is just something greater than myself has gotten me here today. That's for sure. So when we decided, in the beginning what we were going to do, it was a non-permanent structure that would mimic an RV. So it was something that we could build and then take away. So somebody could put it on their house. They bought a property, boom, you could put it on there. And then if you wanted to build a house, you could live in it while you build the house and then remove that structure, the Rad Pad. And that was the original idea. And it seems that it's come like full circle back to that. Because even here in Costa Rica, it's challenging going through building permits and approvals. There's like 4 solid steps you got to go through before you should even think about building something or think about buying something. And doing that due diligence on it, yeah, you can trust a realtor or somebody, and there are a few really good realtors that you can trust and you can do. But like, once you've been burned once, you want to know yourself. So you got to go through those steps yourself, and you don't own the property. So it's like you're putting money out there to get these steps taken care of, and then you find out, oh, I'm only allowed to subdivide it twice. My plan was 10, units or something. Or, oh, I'm not allowed to do a heavyweight construction on it. I got to do a lightweight construction. It's not what I want. Or, oh, whatever the O is. So what we want to do is work with the municipalities and work with the system, read the system clearly, explain the system back, so that we're both clear on it, and say, we want to build RV parks. That's all. We want to build a driveway in with little stalls on the side, with beautiful fences around them, and shrubbery, and palm trees, and some hammocks, and some type of centralized radness. So the first one that I want to do, I've always wanted to do, I used to build skate parks in the beginning, like my dad would go out of town, we'd build a half pipe in the backyard, that kind of thing. And we kept doing it for a very long time. So I built a lot of ramps in my day. And then went into recording studios and then wineries, and then here we are building Rad Pads. So I want to do a pump track. It's perfect for right here. So a pump track is like skateboarding. I mean, if I fall down and hurt myself, that sucks right now. It's not like when I was 15 or 16 years old, right? When I fall down and I hurt myself, it sucks. So skateboarding, like flips, tricks, and ollie and stairs and handrails and all that, it's out for me. I'm done. I mean, I love it and I respect it and I love watching it, but I just don't think that I need to be doing that anymore. So I was playing around on a half pipe the other day and it was like, oh, I love this, but you know what, man, this is just not quite right. So a pump track, a pump track is like you get on your skateboard and it's like, it looks like a rolling bike track, like around in circles, and it has kind of bumps around it and big, huge turns, and it's really good for practicing surfing. So it does all your core muscles and everything you need for surfing, and it helps you with like just stability and being better surfer. It's a great way to train. So a pump track, you get on your skateboard and you just pump. You don't have to push, and you get going faster and faster around in the circles and stuff, and it's super safe and pretty chill. So a lot of people can use a pump track at the same time. It's almost like back in the day going to a roller skating rink where everybody just goes around in circles. It's kind of like that for skateboards and bikes and those little scooters, I guess, if you want. Oh man, I don't want any scooters on there. But if somebody brings a scooter, we'll let them use a scooter. So the pump track is a centralized theme and something that you can kind of leverage an existing network, right? So there's a network of surfers that can come use the pump track, definitely family friendly. Pump track, RV park, rad pads, non-permanent structures put on there just as if a RV was parked there for a while. So we found a way, I believe, and we'll know for sure very shortly, whether or how we're going to move forward with this. But right now I'm just sharing with you the idea. We found some really cool properties that are gonna work amazing. 3 hectares, plenty of space to grow, where we can start with maybe 10 units and a pump track, and offer the Rad Pads as investments under Rad Pad Rents management program. So the management and marketing, very similar to what the Surf Ranch dudes did in Nicaragua. They've also done one here in Costa Rica, in a beach up north. But what they did was they were from Canada and they bought some property in the middle of the jungle by San Juan del Sur for super cheap. They were like, we'll give you $1,000 and pay you another $1,000 every 3 months or something. They got the property, and then they built a skateboard ramp there and a climbing wall and a swimming pool, and they built these little huts. They're like 2-bedroom, just basic like Nika huts with little, what is that called? Thatch roofs almost. It's palm leaf roof, palapa roof. And they sold them to Canadian buddies, basically. They said, dude, buy this thing for like whatever, $20,000, and then we'll give you 50% of what we rent it out for. And people were like, sure, man, let's do it. We'll buy some, we own a thing in Nicaragua that's making rent and blah, blah, blah. So we're basically doing the exact same thing. We're just gonna do it right down here and do it with a pump track. And then we're gonna move on from pump tracks to other things and other themes in different areas as we repeat what we're trying to do right now. So if you're into checking out the new Rad Pad, the 2-bedroom, it's amazing. We do the 1-bedroom hotel unit, which we just sold and installed and finished, and then now is on rent at Airbnb.com at the Paradise Lodge here in Platanillo, southern Costa Rica. That one is $35,000, and it's a 1-bedroom, fully furnished, rent-ready, sheets, everything. We do the septic tank, we do the electric, the water, everything. sheets, pillows, the whole works. It was $35,000, and now what we're doing is the bigger one, which is a 2-bedroom, so it's just super duper rad. We built one up in Nicaragua on the Maduras volcano, super rad, Ometepe. And it's 2-bedroom, it's fantastic. And that's what we're gonna be offering down here as semi-permanent, not semi-permanent, non-permanent structures. That's probably what they'll be filed as. But they're basically like a big RV, and they're 4 meters wide by 10 meters long. And then they have a 12-meter second roof with a 7-meter, so 12 by 7 overhanging roof is super amazing. Very similar to the 1-bedroom, only scaled up with a full kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, 2 bedrooms, super rad. So check out our video. I put a video up on YouTube called a full walkthrough or a full tour of the Rad Pad short-term rental. Check that one out, and it's the exact same products, the same process, everything's the same except for it's much bigger and super duper rad, and that's going to be available for investments on the Radpad pump track, which will be very close to Playa Linda, which is an epic beach. It's the beach. Like Dominical, yeah, it's rad because they got really cool surf, and the Dominical, like the downtown, is super freaking rad. The beach of Playa Linda, though, might be just a little bit better. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for that. But Playa Linda is a beautiful beach. That's why it's called Linda, beautiful, beautiful beach. So we'll have a pump track right there. From that point, you can go surf all the different breaks up and down the coast. Very short drive from that location, easy to get to. It's gonna be set up so beautifully. Designing resorts is one of my favorite things to do. I'll put a link on this of one that I last did in Canada, and you can kind of get a gist of the quality and the experience that we'll be offering Radpad guests. So if you're looking to invest in Costa Rica and you're into getting yourself a 2-bedroom Radpad rental unit, you can stay in it whenever you want. You get 50% of whatever it rents for. Is just a super rad deal. I'm super stoked to be offering it, and I can't wait to be pumping that pump track on my skateboard with big fat wheels. It's gonna be so fun. All right, everybody, have a rad day. Please like, share, do all that stuff, and hit me up on my WhatsApp. Just call my WhatsApp, I pick it up, love to talk to you, and leave a comment if you wouldn't mind. I love the engagement. Adios, nos vemos.